In 1935, cartoonist Charles Addams tripled to work for the New Yorker newspaper. Almost 3 years later, in 1938, Charles created a strange, gloomy, but very friendly drawn family. At that time, the world was on the brink of incredible, tragic, and irreversible changes, and society felt that the inevitable was coming, and you have to be prepared for it. The first appearance of the Addams family in the New Yorker was a simple one, a sketch about a vacuum cleaner salesman who visits Morticia and Gomez on the estate. Later, but still in the same 38, the Addams family's mom and dad were joined by children, a grandmother, an uncle, a butler, and a hand they called the Thing. Charles had no idea he had created iconic images. The New Yorker published more than 500 one-page comic strips. And these caricatures of the lives of non-poor and even aristocratic outcasts. Readers saw how one could relate to hardships and adversity and still be a loving family who valued their circle and were happy to overcome adversity. The newspaper life of the Addams family continued for a long time, but in 1962 Charles was approached by NBC, who offered to make a television adaptation of the iconic characters. The New Yorker stopped publishing sketch comics because he did not want to be associated in the eyes of readers in television. But the characters had already lived a completely different life and became a favorite audience through the series The Addams Family, aired in 1964 to 1966. The writers of the series tried to preserve the atmosphere of the comic book. The characters spoke, did, and perceived the world differently than ordinary Americans. If you can say so, the Addams' American dream was a cemetery, a crypt, mystical incidents, and a somber setting. All of this, while seemingly repellent to the man, kept warmth and love within the family. After filming ended, the series continued to be loved and watched. And thanks to viewer interest and love, the Addams Family animated series was released a few years later. In 1973 to 74, viewers were eagerly awaiting the release of new episodes. They were less marriageable than the series. But Love the Addams Family did not become less. In fact, in this series have appeared another audience favorite, the heroes of Scooby-Doo.
Seriously, I have seen him before. And that weird-looking house, too.
A few more years passed and the movie version of the Addams Family was reunited, Halloween with the new Addams Family, 1977. The plot departs from canon, if I may say so. There were attempts to breathe new life into the beloved images of the American viewer. Gomez left, his brother is left with his family instead, and he wants to separate Morticia and Gomez.
Where's the family? Trimming a scarecrow without me? Oh, show me.
Time passed, and in 1991 the first film about the unusual family, directed by Barry Sonnenfeld, was released, and in 1993 the same Sonnenfeld showed to the world the Addams Family values.
Showtime!
Incredible success and love of the audience, as well as recognition by critics and at various competitions, the Oscar for Best Costume Design, the Golden Globe for Best Actress, BAFTA for Best Makeup, and that's not all.
I think their whole family's like some weird medical experiment.
And now, almost 30 years later, the world has fallen in love again with the Addams Family. Netflix's acclaimed series Wansday has incredible characters and a compelling story. Tim Burton has found both the best Wendy, Jenny Ortega, and the charming Morticia, Catherine Zeta-Jones. Gomez is played by Luis Guzman and Pugsley by Isaac Ordonez. But perhaps the show's supporting role belongs to a character who never uttered a word in all 8 episodes. This is the Thing character. In contrast to the usual for movies and TV series, 3D models and complex computer graphics in Wensday is also a live actor and illusionist Victor Dorobantu. The new series from Netflix is bursting with clues and references. There's Harry Potter, sex education, Twilight, The Adventures of Sabrina, Stranger Things, and many others, more or less vivid reminders of the already filmed themes of teenagers, identity formation, cold but fiery hearts, outcasts, and outcasts among outcasts. Beginning with the double snap of the fingers that was part of the splash screen of the television series from which this whole Addams Family world grew, and ending with the name of the academy where Wednesday attends, Nevermore. It is nevermore that is the most repeated word in Edgar Allan Poe's poem The Raven. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the Raven, nevermore. All in all, we are looking forward to the new seasons. In the meantime, tell us what movies and TV series you liked in 2022. Write your comments and come back to the YouTube channel Brain Detox.